Neil and enthusiasm clap.
Just a quick preface, since I don't have a slideshow. My presentation is on the differences in experiences with girls and guys with video games. And so to start, I have a quick segment from a much longer video.
Try full screen. Yes, double click it.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Is there a speaker?
Yeah, there's the other cord.
Oh, there we go.
Girls and not a general audience. This will be pretty easy to determine, since most of the games that qualify will actually label themselves as for girls, either on the box or in the game somewhere. Going by this definition, this means most games that are actually popular with female gamers, such as Animal Crossing and Kingdom Hearts, or games that feature female protagonists like Tomb Raider, don't count as GFGs because they're marketed to general audiences. I'm also going to narrow this down to games that were released on dedicated gaming platforms, and not PC or mobile games. PCs and cell phones are more common household objects, and a girl wouldn't necessarily need to commit to buying a system just to play games, so typically games from these platforms don't need to try as hard to reach a female audience. Lastly, as an American, I will only be talking about games that were released in the US. Different countries have different gender dynamics and different gaming markets, so to narrow the scope of this video, I'm going to focus only on my home market. A GFG may be developed in another country, but only the localized US version will count for this video. But why even make games marketed exclusively to girls in the first place, one might wonder? After all, there's nothing about video games that really requires the player to be one gender or the other, and girls don't necessarily need to be catered to enjoy games. Well, for reasons so complex I would need to make a separate video to fully explain them, when video games were first introduced in the US, gaming was seen as an almost exclusively male activity. There were, of course, always girls playing games from the beginning, but the overwhelming majority of the consumer base was male for decades. Game publishers knew they could double sales, as they could just get more girls to start buying games as well, so they began doing market research to figure out new ways to reach female players. Through this endeavor, they discovered that girls generally preferred different characteristics and activities in the games they played compared to boys, which meant that if gaming companies wanted to dramatically diversify their consumer base, they would need to cater directly to the audience they were attempting to attract. So they began developing games just for girls, in the hopes that if girls enjoyed these games designed specifically for them, that they might start buying more video games in general. The idea was that GFGs would act as a gateway game, reeling girls into the industry and keeping them there to buy and consume gaming products as regular customers. Back in the day, most GFGs released between the years of 1995 and 2005 were tie-ins to TV shows of pre-existing lines of toys. Brand name recognition was an easy way to get kids and parents alike to pick out games based on the value of the IP alone, without knowing anything about the game itself, so it was a popular strategy for marketing games. As for how many games girls had to pick from, though I can't find figures for the exact number of qualifying games released in this time period, GFGs were a very small fraction of the total games on the market. Just to demonstrate, the Game Boy Color, the console with the most GFG-written library of its time, only had GFGs take up a mere 5% of the total games released for it. During this era, there were two dominating brands of GFG, Barbie and Mary-Kate and Ashley. Barbie was a pioneer for GFGs.
Alright, I think that is where I want to stop that video. And that's just a good quick background on what a GFG is, so, or a game for girls. So now if you guys wouldn't mind going into Schoology and taking the quick survey that I have, and I'll be pulling up the data in just a second. I'll just leave this here. Since there are so little girls in this class, I gave it to a few friends to take just for more data. Also, no names are recorded, but you guys wouldn't mind if I pulled the data up on the screen, would you?
No.
Alright, cool.
You don't have to.
Chances are I didn't
It
forget.
predates all of
Genesis.
this.
Is it the Atari 2600?
No. This is Nintendo.
Nintendo 64?
No.
Just
The
Nintendo.
NES.
Like the old.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
NES.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that's listed further down. That is what you primarily play, or which type of gamer one is classified as. There are just a few categories. Actually, I think in that which you played, I added another category.
Yeah, I just saw that.
That is
Off in the past 20 seconds.
that is impressive. It's like totally. This is good. If you guys are done, if you wouldn't mind just closing your computer screen so I know who's left. Thank you.
Just hit the number on the side.
I suppose that also works. Good catch. Appreciate it. Alright, looks like Patrick, you done?
Almost last question.
Alright. There were quite a few questions.
This is a hard question.
Very pressing issues.
You know which one.
Alright. Okay, so first things first, with the addition of the two friends that I sent this to, it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls play video game. That's actually very impressive. Yes, just about all of them. Everyone has played video games. That's good. Looks like there's definitely some people with older siblings. I know that is personally a big factor in people playing games. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like everyone with siblings was influenced in some way by their siblings playing video games. I'm going to assume for the most part that was older brothers. What was this question? Oh. Yes, your older siblings all played games, and then, yes, for the most part, your siblings were responsible to some extent. Discouraged. No. One person felt discouraged. 1 overall, that's good. research, that is a typical thing to be told. And, ooh, parents, always hitting it. Alright. Games almost exclusively, not applicable. Yes, with other games, that's a good mix. It's good that there was a mix. That is very important. A lot of people, or a lot of girls specifically, who played Girls for Games in the earlier years got bored with games because Girls with Games are usually just very low quality. The rest of the video that I showed is actually a very in-depth look at games for girls from 1995 and games for girls up until from like 2000 to 2005. And there's been a lot of change. It went from just very bad re-releases of mediocre games from the PC onto consoles and handhelds to actually new games designed to be video games and not just mini games collections. Common theme of the Barbie games, which is why I asked this, was taking care of animals. And it seems every girl who played video games dealt with animal care games at some point, which I would expect. I remember actually getting my Sims, or my cousin, a Sims expansion that was with pets for her birthday, specifically because she asked for that. Female family members that played games. Oh, good. There were some female family members that played games. That is good. That is good for variety. Did you think gaming was for boys? No, yeah. Alright, so it seems there is a variety of both guys and girls who felt that gaming was for boys. That's actually a very typical mindset. Large female fan base. Animal Crossing. Not to the detriment of Animal Crossing, it's a fantastic game series. It's a lot of fun. I personally like it a whole lot. Large male fan base, that's just about every video game, so if a girl likes a game, yep, that makes sense. Alright, so it seems, to some extent, there were girls that were interested in games and were the reason that they had consoles. That's good. That's good. Alright, that is good. Mr. Laub, I think I found you. Seems like a large variety. At least one other person playing 3DS. Alright. And serious and casual, it seems like a typical thing. People like a little bit of both. Casual. Alright. Oh, I can't even read down. That's self-explanatory. Alright, and the very end of this question. No? If I'm not mistaken, that would be the main response. So it seems like, to some extent, there is a rift in this. Some guys thinking it's for guys, some girls thinking it's only for guys. Which is not necessarily correct. Gaming is for everyone. I think I got to the part in the video that I showed where the person who made the video stated that games didn't necessarily have to cater to females for them to enjoy it, and oftentimes the thing that made games for girls so bad was that they specifically tried to be for girls, and that made them bad games. And so a lot of everyone's childhood experiences with games for girls were that they were low effort, boring games that were just not fun and either made people not want to play games, or they were too young to remember how bad they were, and they continued to play games, and now they play good games, and they look back on the bad excuses for video games that were then known as games for girls. It's good that everyone in their class has had some experience with gaming. It's good selection. I should find it relatively interesting that there are still, to some extent, some people that think gaming is a male activity. It's kind of, yes?
That's about
Oh, alright. Okay, I only have so little time left for this, so I am going to assign you each a break up into groups, and I will give you a character to quickly look up and try and find if they are from a game for girl or not, or just a regular game. Someone
Bosses back to you.
Bubbles.
Alright, pull them out. Okay. Are you guys group?
Yes.
Alright. You are going to look up Faith Connors from Mirror's Edge.
Oh, that's
Will, you,
that's a good game.
it is.
That's a good
Mirrors of the Symphony.
This group gets Kirsten Spark from a game called Imagine Detective.
That's gonna
Oh god.
Let's see. If you guys wouldn't mind scooting over there, because it looks like I can set this area up and do 2 groups. You guys get someone named Tiki from a series called Fire Emblem. And you get Samus Aran from Metroid.
Oh, sure.
Samus Aran.
Wait, how do you spell
Magic
Kirsten?
babies.
Kirsten.
That's definitely.
Oh, you're like this thing?
I got it.
That is definitely.
Really bad. You're stupid.
All
I'm
of
sorry.
that except for that one.
There's like
Oh,
a deal that
I'm
was
pretty
like,
good.
why
But
would
they were
you
all
want
in
it?
I think I've played all those.
Yeah, just look at the
Oh, I
character
heard that one.
and try and find anything on the game that would make you think from either the character or the game,
Oh, no.
whether it's a game for girls or not.
This is games
Like Game
Boy.
Mirrors
It's
of
definitely
definitely a girl's game. It's a fun platform.
Yeah, that's nice.
Imagine Detective.
Really?
And then I had the other story, and then I got tomorrow. And I never went back.
You guys come to a conclusion yet?
Yeah.
Didn't take very
Has anyone else come to a conclusion yet?
Definitely a
All
girl's
of
game.
them except for that one.
Looks like a girl's game.
Oh, is this the Imagine?
No.
Yeah, it's
No,
definitely.
it's definitely. They're the same one as this.
Oh, imagine.
Yeah.
Your magic games suck.
They suck. They're really bad. They're stupid.
Alright,
Imagine games were awful.
Well, actually, the thing about Imagine is none of them were actually from the same series. It was a bunch of different games from a bunch of different publishers that EA bought the license to and released in America under the same umbrella name.
But they were
So-
awful.
classic.
They're all bad to
They were so bad.
There are over, I think, 50
Yeah,
of them.
Imagine.
So, like,
games, like Imagine Babies, Imagine
Neil, we
Babies,
gotta
Imagine
Yeah,
Teachers.
alright.
They're all
Okay, so I've just got to get this done quickly. So, what did you think Mirror's Edge was?
It wasn't
That's right.
Game for girls.
Yes. Fire Emblem. What did you think?
Game for girls.
It's not.
It's not, yeah, I knew that.
Wait, what?
Fire Emblem.
Guys, why didn't you guys ask me?
Although any video game is good enough for girls. So.
You don't
And
This is not.
Samus. What do you think about? What do you think about Samus and Metroid?
It's a
Yeah,
game.
for girls as opposed to being like a guy.
They're always hard. They always she's like, just get used to it.
Like a robot.
That's just
Is it
that's part of the video game lore. It's just a suit.
Next one.
Alright.
After.
Quick conclusion. There was the mindsets on video games are clearly changing. A lot more girls seem to be adopting video games, and games for girls have actually been changing from the past decade to now.